So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to our viewers, and welcome live from Geneva to the Red Cross and Crescent Council of Delegates, where we set the vision, the strategy, and policies that guide our movement, uniting our national societies from around the world. In today's Red Vest session, we will focus on how work done of our colleagues of Magen David Adom in Israel during last year, and we're with us Uri Shakam, the MDA Chief of Staff. Thanks a lot, Uri, to be with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
So I want to start on something that is I think is very emotional. It's very also sometimes difficult to speak about, and it's been a year since the horrific attacks that took place 7 October 2023. How do you remember that day? Do you have any story to share?
Well, I remember this day as a quiet, it started as a quiet weekend. Everybody were at their homes, and we were notified of rocket attacks towards the south of Israel. Very shortly, it became evident that this is not a usual thing because of the scale, because of the range of the attacks. So we immediately rushed to the headquarters, and what was what I will ever remember for that day was the attack on Magen David Adom staff and ambulances. See, as humanitarians, we are protected, and not only in the perception. We know from our experience that many times Magen David Adom ambulances were free to cross even during riots, even during very tense times. But we had free passage because people knew that we are representing humanitarian values, and that day, we had ambulances that were directly targeted. And what I will forever remember from that day is having this inside crisis of how come somebody attacks Magen David Adom people and ambulances, as we are there to serve humanitarian needs. This is something that I will take with me for the entire of my life.
Yeah, I can imagine, and thanks a lot for bringing this point, because protection of humanitarians has been an overarching discussion here at the statutory meetings here in Geneva, and I think that it's very important to remember that the last years the number of humanitarians have been killed is rising, and of course that this is unacceptable, and we're always calling for respect and protection of humanitarian workers. Now, we know that you are honoring the memory of MDA colleagues who have been killed also by naming ambulances after them. Can you tell us more about it and what you're doing to just make sure that no one will forget their work?
Well, that horrific day, we lost 7 women and men in the line of duty. They were actually providing medical treatment to others, and they were directly targeted and they were killed. We are honoring their names by placing their names on ambulances. And it's not only honoring their name, it's honoring their legacy. The legacy of providing humanitarian assistance even under the most dire situation, even in the face of danger, and putting their own security second in order to provide help. We are placing the ambulances in the places where those people lived, so their community can see how much we appreciate their activity, how much we appreciate their sacrifice, and that their legacy will go on and on for many years.
Thank you. How has Magen David Adom been supporting communities that have been impacted by the attacks? And I would say in the year after, because then you have been working around the clock in the last 12, 13 months.
Well, one of the things that were evident on October 7th is that communities that were prepared responded better. Now, within the Red Cross Red Crescent movement, this is something that we all know. But sometimes, in the general public, this is a perception that is not that common. So, Magen David Adom has launched as early as November 2023, just 3 weeks after the horrific attack, a campaign to train communities with immediate response, and not only train them but also equip them with medical equipment, and to train them how to work alongside Magen David Adom teams. We say that in the first minutes when a disaster happens, you can respond within your own community, help your own neighbor. And let me tell you this, it's not only that people can help their own neighbor, it also gives them the sense of confidence. We are actually not only providing professional assistance, but this is also a we build the resilience, because they feel that they can help if something is needed. And let me tell you what, in one of the communities we had this kind of training. 2 weeks later, this community was hit by a rocket that hit the middle of a playground where kids were playing, causing a multi-casualty incident. And the ones that were responding alongside Magen David Adom teams were members of the community that was just trained by this initiative of Magen David Adom. So we see how implementation of this community capacity building actually assist people in the immediate phase and also for the long term.
And this is a very important point, because preparedness, it's really, if you want, the trade union and the added value of all our national society around the world to strengthen local communities. Now, in these days, we talked a lot about youth strategy, youth and vision. We know that youth are very important for our network. So what is the role of the youth of Magen David Adom in responding to this emergency?
Well, first of all, we know that the youth is the future generation of leaders in each of every national society. We encourage the youth in Magen David Adom to bring new initiatives, to be the current leaders of changing the perception of the community. We are asking them to be the one that promote community preparedness, the one that build the bridges between communities. Sometimes communities that live very nearby in Israel need to work together, and having a Magen David Adom young person, youth volunteer going and making this connection actually enables us to implement those preparedness processes, to have a better coordination, and thus when something happens, we respond better. Just a couple of days ago, there was a rocket hit in a place called Majd al-Krum, which is just next to a city where we have a Magen David Adom station. The fact that both communities responded together, and thanks to cooperation that was built by those young people, actually saved lives. So on the immediate phase, it is saving lives. For the long term, it says, I'm here for you because you are my neighbor, because we live at the same place, because we are both human beings. And this is a very important role that the youth of Magen David Adom take into their actions.
Thank you. We also know, we saw different posts and articles, so that blood service and blood donation, it's really something that for you it's critical activities. In the past year, MDA has collected, if I'm not mistaken, 350,000 units of blood for hospitals, saving lives of thousands. How did you achieve this?
Well, I think that blood collection is something that shows solidarity among people. We know that the blood is the liquid of life. And in Israel, we educate the public that whenever needed, when Magen David Adom calls upon the people of Israel to come and donate blood, everybody volunteers. And let me tell you this: the fact that that the Israeli society is so diverse is a huge advantage in this. Because during Jewish high holidays, when people are on vacation or cannot come and donate blood, those are Christians and Muslims who come and donate blood. And during Ramadan, let's say, when Muslims tend less to donate blood because they are fasting, it's the Jewish community that covers. The blood donation in the state of Israel, I think, is a hallmark of the solidarity of how we live together. And when Magen David Adom teams are so professional in establishing collection points, and when we take into account the different aspects of the Israeli society, this is how we manage to raise blood, send it to each of and every hospital that needs it, and actually save lives.
Thank you. We know that you have something that you want to share with our viewers and the public, and something that has been discussed also in this international meeting. So do you have any final words for our public?
Yes, please. I would like to approach each and every one of you and remind you that to this moment we still have 101 people that are kept hostage in Gaza. Those are Israelis and non-Israelis. Those are human beings which their families for over a year haven't received one word of them. If they are okay, if they are not okay, they are in dire humanitarian needs. And I think it's the responsibility of each and every one of us to act so that those people will be immediately released. Magen David Adom has posted pictures of each and every one of the hostages on our ambulances, so people would remember. We cannot allow that those hostages will be forgotten. They have to remain on the first priority of each humanitarian. And we hope that very soon we will be able to take down those pictures immediately after those people are released.
Thank you for these words, Uri, and we want to just reiterate and echo your call for the immediate and unconditional release of all the hostages. Thank you for being with us, and good luck for the next days in the conference.